Hi, my name is Cortlan Harrell, and my scenario is about light, art, and colorblindness. I've spent the past year researching all of these topics, and I've created a small portfolio of my art. There is a link to the virtual gallery where you can find my art in the description. Now may I present to you my scenario project. What is light? Light is an electromagnetic radiation that acts like both a wave and a particle. We can compare it to waves in an ocean. There are small waves, large waves, and some huge waves that only come in so often. Waves can be measured by the distance between crests of the waves. This is called wavelength. Waves with low frequencies have long wavelengths and fewer per second. The long wavelengths that we see are portrayed as reddish tints. Waves that have short wavelengths have more waves per second and have a higher frequency. These are seen as violet tinted. We cannot even begin to comprehend the full spectrum, as it ranges from 10 to the negative 14th power to 10 to the positive 4th power. We can only see 400 nanometers of the full spectrum. Wavelengths above 800 nanometers are infrared rays, radar, FM, TV, shortwave, and AM. We can't see above 800 nanometers. These waves are harmless. Wavelengths below 400 nanometers are ultraviolet rays, X-rays, and gamma rays. These can be very bad for people. For example, ultraviolet rays can cause sunburn, and gamma rays can cause cancer. Most of the time, the higher the energy, the more dangerous the waves are, and the higher the energy, the lower the wavelength. But how does this have to do with colorblindness in art? Colorblindness is a genetic condition where the human eye is missing a cone. To understand more in depth what colorblindness is, we must know what a cone is and how light is transmitted to the brain. A cone is a type of photoreceptor cell in the retinas of vertebrate eyes that responds to light. Human eyes usually have 6 to 7 million cones per eye. Each cone either processes red, green, or blue light. But when one is missing, the others become more predominant. When light from the sun hits an object, some of the colors are absorbed by the object. The other colors that are not absorbed then bounce off of the object and eventually reach the photoreceptor. The cones transmit the information to the retina where the ganglion cells interpret it and send the information to the brain by use of an optic nerve. So basically, colorblindness is when you can't see the full spectrum. So types of colorblindness are categorized by how much of the spectrum you can see. For instance, Duchenne is the most common type and the least severe. Duchenne can be separated into two different groups, dichromats and anomalous trichromats. Dichromats do not have any green-sensitive cones and can only distinguish 2 to 3 different hues, whereas those with normal color vision can see 7 to 8. This is considered deuteranopia. The colors in the box are about what people with deuteranopia see as a rainbow. Anomalous trichromats are considered green weak. People with this condition can distinguish anything from almost normal color vision to almost deuteranopia. For anomalous trichromats, the green-sensitive cones are not missing, but the peak of sensitivity is moved toward the red-sensitive cones. One of the worst types of colorblindness is tritanopia, or yellow-blue colorblindness. This is when a person has a hard time distinguishing blues from greens and yellows from violets. Overall, colorblindness can be very severe and cover a wide range of the light spectrum to something less severe that affects a smaller portion of the light spectrum. Light is very important in art as it gives color and dimension to everything. Artists have learned how to create the illusion of dimension in light. Of course, when most people look at a three-dimensional object, they don't immediately look to the different colors created by shadow and the distance from the light source. For instance, darker colors fall back into the piece of art, while light colors grab your attention and pop out. Also, cooler tone colors fall back into the piece while warmer tones jump out. Light is very difficult for many people to portray in their art. For example, to create the illusion of glass, you must lighten all of the tones beneath where the glass is and add a light wash to portray the warmth of the light. You must also convey the light refraction, which I did not do well. Some people also struggle with water because not only do you have to create the background under the water lighter, you also have to create the reflection on top of the water darker, but not covering the background under the water. I struggle a lot with this, as you can see. Many people struggle to create an ombre of light to dark colors that shows something getting gradually darker or lighter. To make things look real and natural, some artists do a lot of shading or adding shadows to create texture. Texture is a major part of portraying depth and dimension to someone's art. It is a process that can take a lot of time and incredible amount of detail because each little piece of texture has dimension to it. And you have to create that dimension just as you would for a large flat object. Everything in this piece that looks like it feels a certain way has a texture. Texture is one of the 7 elements of art. The 7 elements of art are line, space, shape, value, form, texture, and color. Line being a point in motion with only one dimension. Space is the area around an object. There's positive space, usually the subject, and negative space, the space around the subject. Form is what makes an object appear three-dimensional. Value refers to how dark or light a color is. Shape is an enclosed area. There is geometric shape and organic shape. Texture is how you think something feels. And of course, color is just light bouncing off of an object and hitting the photoreceptors in your retina. The 7 elements of art were established to show the building blocks that most artists use to create their art. Overall, waves of light create the colors on the light spectrum. Colorblind people see less variation in the colors on the light spectrum than people with normal color vision because they're missing a cone. And artists manipulate shades and tones of colors to create the illusion of 3 dimensions on a flat surface. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thanks for watching.